So today's talk is going to be about 60 minutes long. So I hope you're prepared for a 60-minute session, but I'm sure it's going to be a really worthwhile session to listen to. So I was at school with Duncan. He was a good St. John's boy like me, so that alone probably makes it worth listening to him for the next 60 minutes. And I was a few years behind Duncan, and I think I probably used to carry his bag a few times on the side of the rugby field and polish his boots. And it's really been great to be doing some work and some business with Duncan again. So Duncan, really a big welcome, and thank you for joining us today. So I think this has been a really interesting time for most people, and certainly at iTOO, we've been really proud of how we've adapted as a business. So we said when we started this work from home and lockdown, we set ourselves a theme of expert service always. And I'm really proud to say that at iTOO, I think we've lived up to that. We've kept trading. We've managed to get 130 people, all of our staff, working from home, and we've kept business going. We've kept trading, and I think we have really kept up our expert service. But there's no doubt in my mind that as lockdown has continued and we get to sort of day 32, I think it is today, of lockdown, that it certainly does get challenging for people to keep motivated and to keep up high performance. And I think that, from listening to our president last week, there's no doubt that some form of lockdown or a very slow phased back work from home approach will be coming. And I think that it's a really appropriate time to be talking to people about how to stay motivated and how to keep up performance during a challenging times like this. So Duncan Woods he was actually captain of South African men's water polo team for about 10 years. So he is an Olympic level athlete. He spent the last 4 or 5 years working in performance. And I think you can, most people agree after you listen to him today, he is an expert in the field of human performance. So Duncan is going to be chatting to us about a basic framework. And I really hope that this will help all of you in the iTOO team and all of our brokers find a way to keep up high performance during what is a really unusual and challenging time for all of us around the world, and certainly in South Africa. So Duncan, I'm going to mute and keep quiet now, but great to have you with us, and we're really looking forward to what you have to say and share with us today. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Just, for the very kind intro. And to all of you on the call, I'm really looking forward to this being a learning moment for us all. I think Justin nailed it there. The conditions, we're going to talk a lot about conditions today, and conditions are changing all the time. And for us, we kind of, the language we speak, the lingo we use is all about human performance. And each and every one of you on the call is a performer. Whether you consider yourself a performer or not, we are all performers. We've all got a job to do, and we all need to perform. And if we, in these challenging times, if we can reframe what we are doing in the context of performance, it allows us a kind of game plan to work off. So I want you to view today as a very short soundbite on how you get your game plan going forward, how you frame that, how you frame the conditions, and how you get your game plan together. So Justin alluded to it. I would love you to leave. I've got my meeting chat open. If you have a question, please pop it in there. I'm also going to be asking you for input as we go through, and if you could just pop your answers in the chat, it'll be great for us to get impressions from around the room, and it's probably a little bit easier to manage if it's in the chat section rather than speaking up. So that's how we're going to communicate. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Just get this going. Okay, so can everyone see the holding slide in front of them? Could I just have some feedback on that? I just want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself and you looking at the
not received.
Duncan, I think you need to put it on presentation format. We can just see it in small, so if you can make it on presentation format so it takes up the whole screen.
Okay, bear with me here, folks.
There we go. That looks great.
Okay, are you on full screen?
Yeah, that looks perfect. Thank you very much. That looks perfect.
Cool.
No.
Okay.
I'll give you any feedback if I need to, but otherwise I'm going to say cheers, and to all of our brokers and team, I hope you enjoy it.
Cool, brilliant, guys. So today I want to make today really useful for you. That's the challenge to myself, is to leave you guys with a very useful, very practical way of looking at your performance. And the way we've chosen to do that is through the 4 essential questions that can guide your performance, specifically around these conditions we find ourselves in. So again, this must be useful for you. This must be something which you can really lean into, post this and make it very useful. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background on where we come from. We've the group PlanetK2 have 17 years of experience in human performance, and these are some of the caliber of the people we've dealt with. So when you look around this holding slide, you will see that the group have dealt with some of the most serious businesses around the world: Swire, Coca-Cola, Samsung, Adidas, etc. And I don't show you this to brag. I rather would like you to go into this conversation with a good feeling of trust and credibility for the work that we've been done. Our core team are sports psychologists and business performance experts. So this stuff, the content that we're going through today, is, I'd like you to make up your own mind on whether it's useful for you, but I just want to reassure you that this is some of the best performance stuff that has been around for the last almost 2 decades. So, Olympic heritage, obviously, for most of us, I'm sure many on the call are sports fans. This year's been probably the most challenging conditions for an Olympic athlete. And the reason I put up this slide is that we have our main content person is a 5-time Olympian sports psychologist. And basically, he has built this business on the premise of helping everyday people think, prepare and perform like elite athletes. So going out of this conversation with you today, I would really love you to have yourself in a different context, look at yourself in a different light from the aspect of performance. And my job is to try and help you with some of the performance thoughts, processes and plans that have really been successful for many over the years. So I'm looking to you today in a new light, and I want you to do the same. You're a performer, you're an elite athlete, and I want to help you think like an elite athlete. There's a key assumption for this all, and I would like to offer it to you to just spend a moment reflecting why you're here and what you can do on this call and how you can benefit from this call. We've made the assumption in getting 130 people on this call that everyone wants to be a better version of themselves. Okay, so a lot of what's going to happen here, I'm going to be sharing my view, our view, but the real work and the real impact of this content will be your version of that. You will come up with your own best version of this content. So I'm really kind of handing the content back to you and encouraging you to take what's useful for you, take the words, the perspective, the attitude of choice that works for you in your unique context, and I want you to apply that. That's really where the power of this comes in. I'm a facilitator today. That's my role. I sit on this side of the screen. I share content. I share models with you. The real impact about your performance is going to sit on your side. So I really invite you to dig into this. This is a unique and rare opportunity for you to have 60 minutes where it's all about you. It's all about your performance. I think as we go through life, we go on and there's so much noise and so much distraction and so many different demands on our time. I want you to use this 60 minutes, not to listen to me talking, but rather to be thinking about yourself, your performance, and how you would like the best version of yourself to come forward in these conditions. So the basic objective that we work off is the readiness to perform whatever the conditions. And I think you're no stranger to these conditions just being the most bizarre and unprecedented conditions we find ourselves in. But we have a choice to make. You know, each and every one of us we can spend hours and weeks and months moaning about where we find ourselves and what this corona thing has done to our chances of success. Or you can make a conscious decision to step forward and say, I'm going to perform in these conditions. And that's the choice that each and every one of you has. Are you going to step up and perform in these conditions? Or are you going to spend your time moaning about what could have been? We like to frame a lot of things in what is useful versus what is unuseful, or helpful and unhelpful. So that I really believe that I want you to really, early on in this talk, really grasp that kind of paradigm. Do things and think about things that are going to be helpful for you. The conditions, all of us sitting here in our own little home offices, we have very little agency on what's going on around us. What we can control and what we can influence is our performance. So again, I invite you to take a step inside yourself, inside your mind, and really think there's a conscious choice here. I need to help myself do helpful things that help me perform in the conditions, whatever those conditions happen. If we go back to level 5 in a few weeks' time, you still need to be framing it, how can I perform within the conditions that I find myself in? So the onus is very much on the individual. So I hope I haven't stressed that too lightly or too much, but the readiness to perform lies on you. A good place to start. Performance is the lingo we talk in and the work that we do. So I want to invite you for a minute to just think about what is performance in your own words, and perhaps we could open up the chat and you could just share with us, what does performance mean to you? So that's your first task on the call. I'm just going to navigate where I can see the chat. What is performance for you? Let's have some thoughts. When you look at yourself, when you think of yourself as a performer, what does performance mean for you? Thanks, Rosa. Productivity, consistency, authenticity. Thanks, Romy. Hard work versus productivity, resilience, winning, strategy, commitment, never give up. Thanks, Rika. I love that one. Getting the work required you complete, attitude, improving every day, progress each day. Cool. So we're not going to have time to go around the whole room, but I just wanted to illustrate the point here that performance is unique. Everyone out of the 144 people we have on this call will have a unique definition of performance. And that's a good thing. And that really shows and really reinforces my point that this lies with you. This lies with the individual. Okay, I'm just going to find my way back to our slide deck. Okay, so our definition of performance, which we use as a blanket statement for all of you, for your individual nuances that you all have, we believe that if you can say to yourself, do the right things to get the results that I want. And that can apply for everyone. So our definition of performance, and maybe you can take a screenshot or write this down. Are you doing the right things to get the results that you want? In these conditions, the results that you want will be different to different conditions. So it's really embracing those three things. Do the right things, have an idea of what you want, and work within the conditions. Those three concepts. So that's our definition of performance. So we've got a framework which is going to be the 4 questions to help you piece this together. Okay, those 3 different concepts. Do the right things for the results that you want within the conditions. Okay, is everyone with me? Everyone up to speed? Is the pace all right for you guys? Can I just have some feedback?
Yeah, Duncan, it's great. We're all with you and really good so far. So thank you.
Excellent. Okay, and you can still see my screen with the 4 questions on.
Yep, we've got it.
Awesome. Okay. So these are the 4 very simple questions. And again, this is my job today is to help you with useful tools that you can use. So I'm not here to baffle you with an hour full of heavyweight jargon and content. I'm here to make this as simple as possible for you to move forward, for you to be able to contextualize your performance. Okay. So we do this within this framework of 4 questions. Okay. The first one is the definition of success. Okay, extremely important, guys. The conditions have changed immensely. So you need to decide, what does success look like for me? The success that you wrote down on your New Year's resolutions, and when you got to work first week of January, full of fierce and full of enthusiasm and energy, that definition of success, unfortunately, is no longer relevant. Okay, so if you haven't done so, and Justin alluded to having done exactly that, but if all of us, if you haven't redefined what success looks like, you need to start there. If you don't have a destination, if you don't have a target, you don't know where you're going, and everything else around performance cannot operate without some idea of what success looks like. And one distinction we make here is we talk about, make sure you are differentiating between results and success. In our business, we talk about unacceptable success and unacceptable failure, and acceptable success and acceptable failure. And there's a couple of different definitions there. Make sure you're not talking about results, because when you start talking about results only, results are not wholly in your control. When if the Springbok rugby team went in against the All Blacks and they put their performance solely on the result, the chances are that they would be disappointed. Okay. However, if you toggle that over to performance, there are 100 things that they could achieve and look to achieve in a game that talk to performance. So I'm really asking you, and I'm sure you're in a numbers game business, I'm really asking you to rather think about, what is the performance I'm looking for, rather than what are the results I'm looking for. If you do the right things, you will get the result that you want. Hoping for the result is not the thing. It's doing the right things that will likely lead you to the result, I think, is a good definition of defining success. So your first little task, I'd like you to define success in terms of gold medal, silver medal, and bronze medal. Okay, bronze medal being the lowest level of acceptable success. Okay, if you can just get through this time, what does that look like? So I'd like you all on a piece of paper or in your on your digital notes to define, what is bronze medal success for me? What would be the minimum acceptable standard that I can get out of this, and I can say I did what I could and I got some level of progress through this. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to define what is bronze level success, minimum viable product type of conversation. Okay, while you're just finishing your thoughts on that, while you're jotting them down, I want you to go to, what is the gold medal version of success? What would be the absolute best situation that you guys could get out of this this lockdown period, or this 2020 period? What does gold medal look like? Try and define that in terms, talking about your performance rather than the result. We'd all like to hit targets this year. Okay, target is a result. What are the things that you can do that you can exit the year having delivered performance versus having said, okay, I hit the number? What are the small steps along the way that you can do that show you and that reinforce that you are performing? Okay, and then as you were expecting, what's the silver medal? What is the silver medal version of success, where you overcame the challenges that came in your way? There were obstacles along the way, there were unexpected things, uncertainties that happened, but you still managed to feel like you've really moved forward and you've taken strides towards the gold medal goal. So try and use that. Bronze is the first acceptable level, the minimum definition of what you would consider success. Gold medal is the ultimate. and then look for a silver medal in between. And hopefully there you get a bit of an idea of what are the things that I need to be doing this year? What are the key elements that are going to take me forward towards my version of success? Okay. I'm going to move on because I want to keep this flowing. The conditions. We spoke a little bit about the conditions before. I want you to, for a second, write a list of all the conditions that you find yourself in now. Describe the conditions for me. Let's open up to the chat. Can we have some suggestions of the kind of things, the ways you would describe the conditions now? Cold. Thanks, Rika. Off-site working. Good. A hard market, working from home, no personal interaction. Cool. What else? How would you describe your conditions to perform? Uncertainty. Gail, definitely. Helping others. Thanks, Leander. Healthy. Good. Disruptions. Client intervention. Fear of failure. Okay, disconnected teams. New and exciting. Tove is enjoying these conditions. Good for you. Okay, no touch and feel with our brokers. Okay, this is the human element that we are missing right now. Challenging, working in isolation. Okay, brilliant. So I hope you've got a list in front of you of your conditions, the things that you feel are relevant for you to perform. So if you were a sportsman, you would say, you know, these are the conditions I find myself in. It's raining, the pitch is going to be wet, it's going to be a very slow wicket today if you're playing cricket. You've got to analyze the conditions that you find yourself in. And then on that list of conditions, I want you to cross out all of the words that are unhelpful to you. Okay, all those things that, yes, they're there, but they are unhelpful. I really want you to make, in this step, I really want you to make a clear distinction between what is going to be helpful for me right now and what is unhelpful. The conditions are challenging. The market is hard. The financial picture is probably quite bleak. Okay, all those things, although they're there, they are unhelpful. Okay, and I really want you to start looking for the list of words that's left. What about these conditions can be helpful for you? And those are the ones you really need to focus on. So as part of the second step, we've defined what success looks like. The second step becomes about, okay, how do the conditions affect that ability to succeed? So what are the helpful things that you can use? The market is tough for everyone. The financial picture is very bleak for everyone. But what are the things that I too and the list of the network of partners and brokers, what can we do that we can find helpful? What about these conditions can we use to our advantage? And in many ways, I often work with this with my clients is, how can your only task right now is to emerge stronger than you were yesterday or emerge stronger than your competitors. Personally, I prefer the inward journey, pushing myself to be better than I was yesterday. But if you live in a competitive market, all you have to do during these challenging times is come out stronger than your competitors. Okay, if that's something that works for you, if that gets your competitive juices firing, use that. You have to be pushing yourself to use the very same set of conditions to emerge stronger than your competitors. Okay, and I think that hopefully sets the scene nice and strongly. That's all you have to focus about now. Folks, don't be doing the unhelpful things. Don't be moaning about the unhelpful conditions. These conditions are out of your control. Find those helpful moments within the conditions that can really help you. Okay. And thanks for all your comments while I'm talking. It's really awesome to see them coming in. Okay. So the next step, we talk about the performance pie. And the reason we talk about the performance pie is that having
could you just reshare your screen? I think your screen has been unshared. If you could just reshare the presentation so we can see it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. Am I back? Can you see it now, guys?
That's great. Thank you, Duncan.
Thanks for the heads up, Just. So the next step I want you to think about is, as a performer, I want you to think about your readiness. And we've developed this thing called the performance pie, because we were frustrated that most performance reviews and performance discussions all revolved around technical ability. Okay, and we believe this is doing the whole performance thing a huge injustice. I'm sure many of you yesterday were, if you follow rugby, were inspired by watching the build-up of the Springboks over those years, building up to the different World Cups where we were successful. And I'm sure watching those moments and reliving some of those moments, you understand the difference between results and performance. You understand the difference between pure results and the things that are required to put performance in place. So we are trying to take performance readiness away from only being a technical thing. When you have a discussion with your manager, if that discussion is all about the number, we feel there's a huge missing chance here. There's a gap. Okay, so we've developed a thing called the performance pie, where we look at your readiness to perform as a full holistic human being. Okay, and that's what it looks like. So we've broken it up into technical, tactical, physical, mental, emotional, contextual. Okay, and as I said, we did this because we found it frustrating that most people's performance reviews all lived in the technical world. How we judged our employees was only on their technical ability, okay, which we feel is missing a large part of the potential that lies in every human. Okay, so the first one, technical. So what does this mean? All right, technical really talks to your skill levels. So exiting this conversation, I want you to think of yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. I want you to think about how technically ready are you? How skilled are you in the job that you need to do, in the things that you need to do to be successful, going back to our definition of success. To do the things I need to do, how technically ready am I on a scale of 0 to 10? Okay, I want you to think of that number. I want you to note that number down. Where am I now? And then I want you to cast your mind forward 6 months, and I would like you to say, where would I like to be? Okay, where would I like to be on a scale of 0 to 10 in terms of technical ability to do my job? Okay, and again, this is going to be on you. This is going to be on you to say, if I want to get better, if I want to achieve my definition of success, I need to go back and I need to analyze my own readiness to perform. Okay, so how can I upskill myself technically to perform like I need to perform, to do the things that I need to do better? Okay, and I think in each of our roles, no matter what you do, what I do, what the next guy does, we all know the technical things that are required to be successful in our role. So how technically ready are you, is my question. Okay, the next one is tactical, and there's a distinct difference. Okay, tactical readiness. This is the strategy piece. You know, instead of the technical having the skills to do it, are you putting those skills in the right places? Are your tactics, are your strategy going to lead you towards that picture of success? Okay, so again, on a scale of 0 to 10, rate yourself. Where am I now tactically in terms of getting those results that I want? Am I doing the right things, essentially? Am I using my skills, and am I putting them in the right places? So again, cast your mind, give yourself a score now, and then cast your mind forward 6 months and have a think on where you would like to be, and more so, have a think on how you're going to get there. How are you going to improve your tactical readiness? What are the conversations that you need to have with colleagues, with partners, with your manager, with your colleagues? What are those conversations that need to happen to make sure that the things that you're doing are being put in the right places? Okay. The next one is physical. Okay, and I was really pleased to see in the comments initially the amount of comments relating to the physical. Okay, to the physical body. So working from home, there was health mentioned in there, and I really want you to embrace this, guys. The one helpful condition we do have at the moment is that we are totally in control of our physical world. Okay, you can be controlling your sleep much better now. because you don't have to commute. You can be eating much better, although it's hard having the fridge close by. You can take control of that. If you are not taking control of that, there's no one else that you can look to, guys. So the physical readiness is all about those things. Is your body getting enough rest? Are you getting enough hydration? Are you eating the foods that you need to eat? Are you getting the exercise that you need to get? And granted, that has been a challenge, exercising at home, but it's still possible to you. Hopefully in phase 4, in level 4, that will provide new opportunities for you. But the key understanding is, what chance am I giving myself physically to perform at my best? Okay, if you just take your performance at work in isolation, you're not taking into account the human behind it. Okay, and no matter who you are, if you're not looking after yourself, there will be a time when your performance at work starts to suffer. So this is one of those opportunities, guys. This is helpful information. Take control of your physical readiness to perform as a way to perform better. In these conditions, this is a key way that you can really become an excellent performer and make sure that you're performing as well as possible in these conditions. Okay, so again, use the scale of 0 to 10. Physically, how ready am I to perform on a scale of 0 to 10? And then again, where would I like this picture to go? Okay, moving on, mental readiness. Okay, how am I equipping myself to perform at my best? How strong have I got my perspectives on what I need to do? How strong is my mental game plan to perform? Okay, this is something we often overlook. We take it for granted, but there definitely needs to be a separate discussion around the attitudes that you have. What do they need to be? What do you need to be thinking? What are helpful thoughts? What are unhelpful thoughts? If you have a head that's full of unhelpful thoughts, anxieties, concerns about these corona conditions, you will not be able to perform. You could be the most brilliant broker in the world. Without mental readiness, you will not be able to perform. Okay, so this is the process of really being able to clear out what's going on in here, get behind a game plan. At the end, I'm going to give you a kind of performance plan framework to use, but don't discount the process of needing to find that mental clarity and giving yourself time to find that mental clarity. Okay, and this process is a key part of that. Decide what you want, decide what your picture of success looks like, decide what are the things that are going to take you there, and then be actively working on that going forward. Right, emotional. Okay, and this is something that many of us find very hard to talk about. Okay, we don't think we need emotional support. Our default answer is when we're under testing conditions is just to suck it up. Have a cup of harden the hell up and keep going. And this is not the case. This is not a realistic scenario. You can put anyone under a lot of emotional stress. Some of us will handle it better. Some of us will handle it worse. But if you're going to be a performer and if you're going to get the best out of yourself, and quite frankly, if you're going to enjoy what you're doing, you need to be giving cognizance to the emotional element of this. And how do we get emotional support? Is mostly through who we interact with. So we'll do a little exercise at the end, but I really want you to give this this emotional piece the clarity it deserves. If you are imbalanced emotionally, if you're not giving yourself enough of support in this area, the whole picture will break down. You can be the best broker in the world, guys. If you're not looking after yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, the performance will start to decline. So be aware of it, be aware what you need. Dial up that self-awareness on understanding what am I feeling and what can I do about it. And then contextual. Okay, this talks to the conditions. What is your unique context? You know, some of us, I'm performing with 3 kids in the house here. That's my context. Okay, we're stuck at home. I've got 3 kids. I'm trying to do homeschooling. My wife works, I work. That's our context. So think about your context for a minute. What are the contextual factors that you need to get a grip on in order to be able to perform? This is very unique to everyone, but you need to weigh in with these. You need to understand your context. You need to be able to have a strong perspective on your context that allows you to perform. Again, I use the same example. You can be the best broker in the country. You can be the best broker in the world. If you're not on top of what your context looks like and what performance looks like and how your context enables or blocks you from being able to do the things that you need to do to get the results that you want. So on a scale of 0 to 10, where are you in terms of having a grip on your context? And then look forward and say, how can I improve on this number? How can I take myself forward? What are the things that I really need to get a grip on to allow me to perform in my context? Okay. Is everyone still with me? Let's do like a mental shake up, a mental reset. Everyone doing okay? I'm going to open up the chat again here. And maybe this is a good time to pause for some questions. Has anyone got a question they'd like to share or like to ask? And it can be an observation as well. Yes, we can. Nice. Cool, CJ, I'm glad you're thinking. That's a good start. Brilliant. Thanks, Ellen. Okay, I'm going to take it that there's no questions. I'm just going to make sure that, just, can you still see my screen?
Yeah, Duncan, we good, and all good so far. Duncan, maybe just one brief question that I have. I think a lot of people are writing these things down and doing it. I think it's a really good exercise to do it in detail yourselves. Will you share these slides or a framework that everyone can use afterwards?
Absolutely, sure thing.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot. We're enjoying it.
Good, excellent. Okay, so let's just recap a little bit. We have been to our picture of success. We've then looked at the conditions and tried to be as brutal as possible in defining what's helpful and what's unhelpful. Then we went through performance readiness. Okay, and we looked around the pie and we said, okay, there's 6 different elements to me being a performer. And we've looked at each one of those. And I hope you've had some good kind of aha moments as you think, you know, what I need to be doing to become a real elite performer in those 6 different areas. Now we're talking about strengths. Okay, so I want you to think on this one, how ready am I already? Okay, what are the strengths that are going to help you to do the things that you need to do? What are the resources around you that you have? It's clear to me that you have a great network of people. The fact that we've got 145 people on the call shows me that there's a strong network. Okay, so what other strengths? I want you to make a quick list of strengths. What other strengths are there that you can take advantage of? These can be personal strengths. This can be, you know, what you as a performer have inside you. Is it your resilience? Is it your work ethic? I want you to make a list of strengths that you have inside you and things that you feel have made you successful in the past, that have got you where you need to be today. I want you to make a list of those strengths. Okay. As you're making your strength, I want to share something with you, which I was at a talk in November last year, and there was the most awesome quote that emerged from there, which I think talks into this point. There was a top performer that we were interviewing in the UK, and her kind of mantra for herself was, I need to wake up every day believing that my best still lies ahead of me. And I think that really inspired me, and I think it could inspire all of us to think whatever you've done up to this point, and many of you, I'm sure, have achieved absolutely awesome things in your life. But we need to approach today and every day beyond this as my best work is still lying in front of me. And that should fill us with motivation to keep working on our readiness, to keep redefining what success looks like for us, to keep thinking in these conditions, how can I perform? How can I perform better than I was yesterday? And how can I perform stronger than my competitors? If we all believe that our best work is still lying in front of us, we've got so much road and we'll never run out of road. That kind of self-improvement statement is so inspirational for me, and I think it can really be valuable for you here. List the strengths that have got you to where you are today, but also think, how am I going to use those strengths to perform in future? And if it's helpful for you, I want each of you to put down, what is your next big performance event? What is that milestone that's on the horizon that's coming up that you're thinking about? Is it quarter two results? Is it a big client meeting coming up? Is it a big presentation that you're giving? What is that event? And I want you to attach a strength. I want you to attach 3 strengths that will help you deliver excellent performance in that event. And then I want you to start a new column, and I want you to put resources available to me. Okay? We've got our personal strengths, and then I want you to put resources that are available to me. Okay, and I think on top of that list, from my perspective, who knows nothing about your business, the network that's visible here should definitely feature somewhere. Okay, how can you use this strong network to help you to perform better? And what other resources are available to you? Okay, I'm going to move on because I'm conscious of time. We've got 15 minutes to go. So as performers, this is what Muhammad Ali used to talk about. He used to say, I can last 10 rounds. Any fool can last 10 rounds. I need to come alive in the 11th and 12th round. Okay, so this is that last stretch where performers really come out, where they've hung on and they've done what they need to do, but now this is really where they shine. The 11th and 12th round. Okay. What is useful for me to add? Okay, what do I need? What are the things that I need to add in order to help me perform better? What are the questions I need to ask? How can I improve what I'm currently doing? What can I add to my readiness recipe? I want you to make a list of things that you feel you need to add to become a better performer. Now that we're all working from home, we've all learned how to work from home. What now? Now that you've got in that little bit of fitness of working from home, what needs to be added? What's coming as the levels, as the restrictions soften slightly? What needs to happen step by step that can allow you to be performing better than yourself and better than your competitors? So I'm hoping you've got a list of a few things that you need to add that you feel would be helpful to add to your, what we call the readiness recipe. And then I'll show the full picture again, guys. So take a screenshot. I'll be happy to share these slides with you. But there's the full screenshot so you can see the journey we've been on. Define what success looks like. Understand what the conditions are. Within those, understand what's helpful right now. It's unhelpful to moan about the conditions. It's very unhelpful. You have no agency on changing them, so don't waste any of your time or energy on those kind of discussions. What is helpful? What can I do within these conditions that will help me to perform, number one, better than myself than I was yesterday, number two, than my competitors? Question 3, it's a strengths analysis. Understanding what strengths you have available to you, what resources you have available to you. How are you going to use those things to perform in your next performance event? And lastly, what do you need to add? We're all going through a lifelong journey of personal growth. What can you add that will make you even better, that will take you to the next level, that will help you secure bigger contracts, that will help you to do what you were doing yesterday better than you did today? Okay. So as we start to head towards the close of the presentation, I want you to sit there and just think for a second, how do I use this information? How is this helpful to me? Okay, I'm going to give you the framework I have already, but I'm going to formalize the framework of an improvement plan. But I want you to think about how you're going to use this. How are you going to build this into your daily kind of game plan? How are you going to use this stuff to form how you think and what things are important to you? I think just going back to that definition of success, if there's one thing you take out of this conversation, I want it to be all you have to do is do the things that are going to get you the result you want. Forget everything else, just do the things that will lead you to the result that you want. Okay? So in terms of a performance improvement plan, there's 4 basic steps. Define what success looks like. See how you can get a grip on the conditions. Analyze your own performance readiness through those 6 different pieces of pie. And decide what you need to add to keep growing and to keep improving. That's a basic performance plan right there, guys. If you can tell me what success looks like in this next phase, if you can understand how you're going to get a grip on the conditions, because the conditions are what they are. You have no agency in changing them, or very little agency in changing them. Look inside from the 6 perspectives, and then decide what you need to add. That's a very brief, very easy performance plan right there. And for the last 10 minutes, guys, we've got something which I want to call fuel for the journey. Okay? The 3 things that we feel are crucial as fuel for the journey, things that you need to be connecting with on a regular basis and assessing where you are, and keep topping up this fuel. Okay? The first one is choice or control. Okay? I want you to write down as your next task 3 ways how you can be better at controlling the controllables, or feeling like you're in choice. What are the 3 things that you can do that will help you feel more in control? This is human motivation theory, which has been, I think, 50 years of research have all agreed that there's 3 things that can help you to fuel your motivation. The one is the ability to choose, the ability to have choice. Okay, and yesterday, Freedom Day, was a celebration of that. It was the first time, aside from the political viewpoint on it, it was the first time all South Africans had a choice. And that's the power of it. Freedom is all about choice. So what are the 3 things that you can do to make you feel like you are more in control and that you're doing things out of choice? We are disempowered when we are doing things to please someone else. If your manager is telling you do the following things, and you're not on board with them and you don't feel like you're doing it out of choice, that's a disempowered scenario. So I want you to turn it on its head, and I'm going to say, what are the things that I can do? What are 3 things that I can do to help me feel more in control and more like I have a choice? Second one is confidence, and we could talk for hours on this. What can I do to improve my confidence? Okay, and confidence is a very interesting thing. I work with a lot of elite sports people, and we see confidence as something that some people have or some people don't have. Okay, even the top levels of sportsmen and women, they have this really weird relationship with confidence. And my job is to help them understand that confidence is evidence-based. All you have to do is have a good attitude, and you have to look back on past successes, and you have to build up your evidence of success, your evidence of confidence. The things that made you successful, that's your evidence. Okay, so if you're not feeling confident in these conditions, if you don't feel like you can do the insurance game in these conditions, you need to look back at the things, the evidence that gave you confidence in the past. What are the things that got you where you are today? Look back on those things and write down 3 ways that you can improve your confidence in this time. If you're feeling confident, if you're feeling in control, and the last one, if you're feeling connected, your motivation has been scientifically proven to increase. 3 things. Motivation comes down to how connected am I feeling, how confident am I feeling, and how in control am I feeling. And that's 50 years of psychology theory summarized into that short little tool. Okay, so for the connectedness piece, on your piece of paper, I'd like you to draw a little circle in the middle of the page with your initials in. Okay, so blank page, in the middle, DW would be my initials. And then I want you to draw in the initials of all the people around you who help you perform. And I want you to join up your initials with their initials, either with a dotted line or with a thin line or with a thick line. And I want you to use this as a way to kind of just do a quick audit of how connected are you to your own performance. And this could be colleagues, this could be your boss, this could be your reports, this could be your brokers. I want you to put a little quick diagram of all the people that are key to you being able to perform. And I want you to think a little bit about those relationships and think, which ones do I really need to strengthen to help me to perform better and to help me feel motivated? And those connections do not just end at work. Put a little thing there for the family members, the friends that are important for you to be able to feel confident, in control, and performing. And if there's dotted lines, I would like you to think about how can I strengthen these lines. If there's a thin line, I would like you to think, what are the ways that I can really strengthen this and make this a really valuable relationship that I can feel really connected with? And as a result, my performance will improve. So the 3 C's, guys, how to motivate yourself. Make sure you're in control. Make sure you have a good feeling of being in choice. Write down 3 things that can help you do that. Make sure you're feeling confident and look back on your past evidence of success. Just look back on the things that got you here today. What did you do well and how can you keep doing those things? And your confidence will increase. And the third one is connectedness. Look at the people around you. Stay connected to those people. How can they help you perform? How can you help them perform? That sense of connectedness is a human element. And that's why some of us are struggling so much during this isolation, during lockdown, is because our connectedness has been compromised. Okay, so really think carefully on this one. What are 3 things that I can do that really make me feel connected? I've got a colleague at work who every morning he puts on our group chats, who's up for a call? I just need to get my day going. And this is his way, a small little 5-minute chat with a colleague that just gets him started, just gets him feeling connected, and then he's off for the day. That's all he needs. So I invite you to think of your own ways that you can feel connected. Cool. Guys, thank you. That's kind of the presentation proper. The last piece that I would like to do, as I agreed with Justin, we've got this awesome tool called the Performance Room, which we are making freely available to you at the moment. And this platform is an awesome performance platform that has podcasts, videos, tools, all the kind of stuff that I've done with you today. It's an amazing resource that we're going to make available to you for anyone who'd like to join. It's absolutely, there's no charge to it, and it's really we find it very valuable as just a way to manage ourselves and manage other people. So I'll give you an example of how you could use it. If you're a team leader this week, you could go into the Performance Room, you could log on through your profile, and you could send out your team, hey guys, here's a short little read, 5-minute read on confidence. Hope you have a great week and hope you really have a confident week. So a little tool which could help set the scene. It just gives some expert opinion to what are the things that you want to reinforce in your work and in your relationships. If you were performance managing someone who's maybe having a really tough time doing what they do during these conditions, there's heaps of tools on there that you could say, hi there, I thought this tool was a really good one. It might help you with your sense of resilience or your sense of dealing with the conditions, etc. So it's really just a way, it's a great platform of sending things to other people, looking at things yourself that can help improve how your grip on your performance, etc. So an awesome performance platform that we make freely available to you. I'm going to ask Tove if she could send me a list of names, so you can just contact her, or you can sign up. There's the link directly when I share this. But we believe a fantastic platform just to kind of reset your mind and give you some kind of expert opinion on how to perform. I think my last kind of comment is that the human journey is all up here. Our human journey is all stuck in our heads. And I think if we have tools and we have people in our lives that can help us separate those things out, help us put it on the table, and then be able to pick it up again with a great perspective and a great performance plan, I think we can all be more successful. So thanks very much for your attention, guys. I've really enjoyed this, and I'd like to open it up to questions.
Thank you so much, Duncan. I certainly was writing very busily and really enjoyed that. And thank you for all of the brokers that have listened, and iTOO team as well, big time for listening in. I think if you want to start leaving, you can, but if you want to put any questions on the group, then Duncan will answer them, and we will make a plan to share all of your email addresses so that you can be signed up to the performance room, and we'll also make a plan to share a summary of these notes, because I think it's really important that you take this information and as Duncan said, go and do it on your own at home. So we will share all of that, and if there are any questions, please put it on the message group and Duncan can answer. Duncan, why don't some people are still on and some people are leaving. I'm really interested in some of the work that you've done in sport and Olympic athletes, and maybe some of your own personal experiences playing water polo and captaining South Africa. What are some of the tips or experiences that you've had coaching Olympic athletes, and how does that translate? It just might be a nice thing to share informally while people are leaving or listening in or thinking of questions.
Sure, Just. I think I look back at my career and I had almost no mental support as a sportsman. And I think that I look back now doing the work that I do and how valuable that would have been. And as I said in the last point there, I think the human experience is all up here. And I think having ways and having people around you who can help separate that out, even just almost every conversation I have, people say, just by talking about what I'm experiencing, I feel better instantly. So it's just kind of unpacking what's going on up here, and helping and having tools and having people in your life that can help you do that. Most of the answers lie inside you. You're the expert on you, right? An elite athlete. I've dealt with some amazing people, and it's just conversations you never thought you would have around confidence, around how do you stay motivated. Conversations you never thought you would have. We look at them from on the TV and we just think these guys have just got it all, all waxed. But the thoughts that you have and the thoughts that I have and the thoughts that they have are all very, very similar. So it's just being able to kind of put those in a useful direction. This has been fundamental to the work we do. We always try and say, stay with the thoughts that are helpful for you. As you look about your challenge going forward, just stay with your helpful thoughts that are helpful with you. If I work with golfers, and the big thing is momentum. So if they make a mistake, the ones who can recover quickest will be the ones who end up on top. So it's all about when something goes against me, how quickly can I respond to that? And then we give them tools. We give them tools that can just reset their thinking. They know how to do it. I can't tell them how to play golf any better than anyone who's played golf with me knows. That's certainly a fact. But if they can just get their own thought process going in a helpful direction with some tools and with some triggers that help them get back there, it's all very easy. It's all very simple.
And Duncan, maybe a little bit of a promotion for yourself and your business. So what else do you do? And if any people in our brokers or in teams out there that want to make use of your services, how would you go about doing more with people? Do you do it on an individual level or team level, different presentations? Maybe just share a little bit about what you do.
Oh, great. Thanks, Just, for the opportunity. Yeah, so we work with one-on-ones. We work on Business teams are our core. We've got a long history in sport, but business teams is our core focus. So we basically work in a number of ways. We work with groups of people, with teams, and we basically discuss with them concepts like role clarity, goal clarity, and the kind of conditions that we find ourselves in. And we have those kind of discussions which can last for absolute hours, because the interesting thing is that each of our experiences are unique. So the content behind that is fascinating, because it unlocks so much within the team and how they work together. And then we support that with one-on-one work. You know, one-on-one work is really important. We all are going through our own unique journey. But probably the most, the biggest changes come when a team can start clicking together, when they can start understanding each other and start contextualizing team performance, is really how we've seen this work be extremely powerful.
Great, thank you very much. I don't know if there are any other questions. We have, Greg Dillon's asked you a question, Duncan.
Greg's got a question. What is the best way to build on the evidence of confidence in talented sporting kids? Perfect. You know, this is the easiest thing to do. You know, look back on past performances of what they did well. Look back on evidence of things that they did. You know, if whatever level you're playing at, you did something to get you to that level. And I would really, Greg, my piece of advice would be to get them thinking about confidence in a new way. Confidence is not a magical powder that we dust on ourselves. Confidence is all lies within. It lies on belief in our ability, and it relies on looking at the evidence of what got us to where we are today. So help the young sporting talent out there to really to understand that confidence is not magic. Confidence is evidence-based. If they can have a good attitude, if they can build on their own evidence base, they will be confident.
And then Duncan, I see we've also got a question from Bruce McNair, and he says, what is the best tool you use to get the best out of your teammates? It's covered up. Let me just see. Yeah, so, let me just see. I think what is the best tool that you've used to get the best out of your teammates? I don't know if you can see the question from Bruce McNair in the message box.
I can't see it, but there's a number of tools. I mean, I think the most important thing is having that strong level of alignment. If you can make people feel like they're all working towards the same thing. If you think of the analogy of a kind of circle in the middle and pieces of string attached to that circle, like a ring in the middle, and if everyone's pulling in their own direction, doing fantastic work, it's ineffectual. The circle stays in the same place. Everyone could be pulling as hard as they can, doing brilliant work out there, and the circle will only move in the direction of the strongest pull. If you can just rejig your team and start making it explicitly clear on how their role delivers the team goal, that's the easiest tool. You know, make sure that every effort, every ounce of sweat that's being put in is all pulling in the same direction would be my answer.
Great. I think that seems to be the end of most of the questions, and we have been going for just over an hour. So really, Duncan, I'd like to say a really big thanks to you. It's been a really great presentation, and I'm sure we'll find lots more ways to work together. And I'm looking forward to the performance room and seeing what else we can find out in there. And to all of our brokers and the iTOO team, thank you very much for listening in. We will share your details if you want to sign up for the performance room, and we will share a summary of these slides or a template so that you can go and complete some of these exercises. Thank you very much, everyone, and Duncan, big thanks to you.
Cool, Just. Thanks for the opportunity.